like to invite Eamon Lee of Island 92 Radio. You have the floor.
Good morning. Thank you. My question is, I believe, for the Prime Minister, although I believe it does touch almost all of the ministries, but I will address it to the Prime Minister.
Okay.
My question has to do with the legalization of marijuana. There's
Yes.
quite some discussions about that. And in the end, it will touch almost all of the different ministries from an education perspective, a health perspective. Is there consensus within the Council of Ministers on the legalization of marijuana? What is government's interest in the legalization of marijuana? Can you explain the process that it's going through? It's come to my understanding that the drafting of the legislation has been outsourced to a third party, and that same third party has an interest in later participating in the commercialization of that marijuana industry. Isn't that a conflict of interest that the same company drafting the legislation will eventually participate in it? So those are the questions regarding the marijuana.
Thank you for the information. Mr. Lee, the following. The marijuana topic has enormous implication, as you said, for all ministries. But I go further. It has implications for your children. And I have a position that I think that it has so many implications on socio-economic level that I have to make sure first that I'm well prepared for all the effects of this introduction, legalization, and regulation of this marijuana. So I can explain you, we did it in the Netherlands. If there is a country that can legalize and regulate, you have to give the Dutch credit in that. They did not legalize it, but they tried to regulate it. But they're good in regulations too. You know how that society is organized. And until today, there are big challenges, although they are masters in regulating, with the implications and challenges of marijuana for the public. I'm not telling you I'm against or pro, but I'm not busy with legislation now. I'm busy making sure that if we get to that phase, my country, my community, my people must be well prepared for the effects on all levels and dimensions with the introduction of marijuana. We have challenges to get a good turning point in this country. We have major challenges with our health care. And we are talking now at this particular phase, while we have our challenges to organize our mental health care, about the legalization and regulation of marijuana. And I know that one day has to take place. But please, let us do the first things first for this country before we go to the second gear with this introduction of marijuana, please.
So could you comment on what I've understood that the outsourcing of the development of the legislation has been given to a third party?
I'm not even that far in looking to this problem. My main concern is to make sure that I have a balanced community with a responsible, well-prepared mental health care and turning point organization and a good educational system for my children before I start thinking in that direction.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Thank you, Mr. Lee. Members of the media, this does bring us to the end of the question and answer session. Any further questions can be sent to the Minister's Cabinet in writing. Before I close off, I would like to re-invite Minister Brugge, who would like to make one clarification to his opening statement.
Yes, thank you very much. The clarification I would like to make is that the OZR amount is 67 million, is approximately 67 million. So not the 70 million that I stated earlier or the 40 million, but 67 million. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Brugge. Honorable Ministers of the Council, members of the media, radio listeners, and online viewers, this brings us to the end of the live Council of Ministers press briefing.